I'm going to show you how to use the cart system to manage a multi-level assembly. Now, this is a simple version that's only 2 levels deep, but you can continue to go through many, many levels of sub-assemblies and subcomponents as you need to. So in this example, I'm starting right from the customer purchase order. I'm going to go ahead and create a work order here. And as I create this work order, um, I'll just run through the process to quickly sort of finalize it and get it moving into where I want to do my purchasing. So here I have to choose which routing that I want. This is the final assembly. So this is actually going to go to the customer. I'm not going to put this one in inventory. And I will go ahead and assign this to myself as well. So I get all my notifications, making sure that it gets into my list of things to manage and have all the visibility that I want. All right, so now that I've created this, you'll notice that I have my bill of material over here and it's actually pre-filled. I've got my system set to pre-fill this with a status date. There's all sorts of options there. I'm just going to stick with the date that I've got. I'm not going to worry about changing that. This is essentially the date that I want to have the subcomponents ready for the subassembly, or for the main assembly rather, to be able to do the processes I need to do, etc. And you can see that my must leave by date here is calculated on the 25th. So I've got a little bit of a buffer between those. All right, if I want to see what I have in inventory right from this perspective, the first thing I can do is just click on Manage BOM. And that's going to open up my inventory tables. And you can see here on this fastener, I actually have some of these in stock already. I get to see all the inventory that's there, some still on order, etc. Same with these hinges that are in here. I've got some that are in stock. Now, I don't have enough. It's actually going to tell me that I'm short by 13. So it's going to keep my status date over here. So all of this is kind of key to what I'm going to be doing in the next several steps. I'm going to go back up to my main level, and I already have my cart created, so I'm just going to add this to my active work order cart. So if I were doing multiple work orders all at the same time, I would kind of do some of the same thing. Go through, do a little bit of upfront planning, see what I need, see what I may have, etc., and then add them to cart in real time. Now that I've added them to the cart, though, I can go ahead and go in and go to my work order carts. You can see I've got several different projects going on here. And this is the cart that has this work order in it. So for this project, I'm going to continue through the different subcomponents, creating the subcomponent levels, whether that's in-house manufacturing, it could be outsourced manufacturing. But basically what I want to do before I do any component purchasing is I'm actually going to run through and create work orders for my subcomponents. Again, that could be internally manufactured, that could be outsourced if I'm doing maybe outsourcing to a fab shop or something like that. So I'm going to use this parts BOM purchasing option here. So when I click on that, you'll see that it opens up my sort of standard cart view here. And it's going to go ahead and start doing all my calculations for me based off of what I have in inventory. Now, in this case, I don't have anything in inventory. I've got quantity verified is only filled in for one, but I've got 0 in the shop here. You'll be able to see that. I've got my need for the cart, my total needed number here, quantity on order, and so on. So what's happening here, just as a quick little reminder, if you don't remember how this works, is I have 100. Let's just take a look at this first item here. I have 100 that I need for the cart. The system is actually going to look through all active work orders and see if I need this item anywhere else, and it's going to tell me here in this number. If I click on this, it'll open up a list of all the items that I may need. Now, in this case, it's just the one work order that I'm doing. So it's going to take my total needed. It's going to add in any safety stock if I had that in, evaluate my quantity on order, evaluate the quantity in shop, any of the other criteria that it needs to do, minimum reorder point, economic order quantity, all that kind of stuff. And then tell me what I have left over after I've accounted for everything that I need in the system. So this is great. If I do these jobs sort of on a rolling basis every day, I would come through and do this process and I'd be able to see maybe these numbers change in real time based off of what's shipped, what new work has come in, and what might be in WIP at any given point in time. All of that is going to be evaluated right here for me. So after it does this, it's going to give me my total suggested quantity. So I can go ahead and add that in. And I'm just going to do that sort of through the whole segment here and be able to move to the next step. Now, in this case, as I'm creating work orders, I already have this set up to kind of give me the right vendor, which is me, my company. I'm going to call these my subcomponents. If they happen to be subcomponents for a customer, you can actually have these set to be your customer's name. There's different sort of iterations, different reasons for doing different things, and you can talk to implementation specialist about which way is best suited for your circumstances. But in this case, I don't need to do anything. I'm going to go to the next step, and it's going to allow me to create a PO. So here I have an internal customer PO that has all my items on it. Everything is going to come through with my date, all my quantities, all BTIs, etc. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. And now I have all of my line items ready to create my work orders. So I'm going to go ahead and create work orders. I'm just going to hit the auto create and then let that run through, creating all those work orders, subcomponents, etc. for me, and we'll give that a minute and come right back to it. All right. Now I've got all my work orders created. I'm going to go ahead and do the same process that I did before. I have a little trick to make this a little bit faster. What I want to do is all of these work orders that were created, we can see them here on the right-hand side. I want to get them all in my cart. Now, if I go to the work orders individually, you'll be able to see that just like before, my bill of material is already sort of preset. In this case, there's just some raw materials to get. But again, like I said, what I want to do is I want to get all of these work orders into my cart. So I'm going to grab this PO number that was auto created in the cart step, and then I'm going to go into my work orders list. So when I go to my work orders list, if I go to Addion Systems, which is the customer that I had chosen there, I'll just use my quick filter and be able to filter by that. Sorry, I didn't mean to keep that prefix there. So these are all the work orders that I just created and want to add to my cart. I just check that box, hit set, and there we go. Now I can start this process all over again and do parts BOM purchasing, just like I did before. So here we are, and another little trick that you can hopefully work with here is that because I left my original work order, my upper level assembly work order, in the cart, I'm going to be able to see that any new items that I've added with subcomponents would show up here, and they would not have a quantity automatically put in. And the suggested quantity would be whatever that new calculation is for that new part number. So in this case, what it looks like here is, as I've created all the subcomponents, like I said, this was a simple example, but I would keep going 2 or 3 levels deep, kind of redoing these steps for any complex assemblies. In this case, there are no more sub-level assemblies. So I actually don't need to do any more work order creation for my subcomponents. So I can tell that again because these numbers are pre-filled because that's what I had just done, and all my suggested order quantities are all blank. So that means I'm done. All those work orders are created. All right, since I already have all my work orders created back here at my cart, again, I would go through all of those steps as many times as I needed to create subcomponent work orders, continue to add them to the cart, however many iterations that would take. But now that I'm back here at the cart, now the next thing I want to do is actually take a look at the component purchasing that I need. So this will be if I've got raw materials that are in a bill of material, if I've got purchased items that are in a bill of material, anything like that, I can actually run through this process as well. So in this case here, I get to take a look. It's condensed into showing me the similar items. So you can see here on the first line item, I've got 2 work orders, subcomponent work orders that need the same raw material. Those are collated onto one line, and that would just, again, collate every item as I would move through. So like materials, like hardware items, we get to evaluate them all at once. Just like before with the part levels, it's going to take a look at all of my inventory, everything that I have on order, if anything, and then compare what I need for my cart and also what I need throughout the shop for all of my active work orders. It's going to basically do the same calculations before. except this time it's looking at COTS items, and it's going to give me my suggested quantities to order. So I can stick with these, or I can change them if I want to. I'll go ahead and stick with them because it's pretty easy to do. Now, in this case, because this is a raw material, it's not automatically rounding up, and that's okay. I'll go ahead and just order 38 sticks of that. And I'll take a look at this one, and maybe I'll just order extra of that, maybe 20 there and 20 there. Now this one here doesn't have a suggested order quantity because I already have enough either on order or in stock. So I don't actually need to worry about this item. I'll just simply leave that blank. Now when I go to the next step again, here is where if I only have one vendor, it's going to automatically select my vendor for me. If I have multiple vendors, I would need to select which one I want to use, or any other vendor for that matter. I can override any of these things at any given point in time. I'll go ahead and choose Coast Aluminum here for this. And then when I go to my next step, of course, now here is where I can create every one of my individual purchase orders for each one of my vendors. And I'll just do one here just to kind of move through those steps. I would go in, say 50 pieces here since I'm ordering sticks, and I'll save that. And I can go ahead and get in touch with my vendor and find out what current pricing is. Make sure that that matches before I pull the trigger, and so on and so forth. So anyway, this was a quick overview of how to use that cart system. Now, I'll actually go back in. I'll go up one level here and take a look. Now, when I want to see what's happened on all of my bill of material, it's pretty straightforward. This is going to update for me. You'll see, in this case, this one was one of the ones that was already in stock. So I get to see that in real time there. And any of my other work orders, main level assembly, subcomponent, any of those types of things, my bill of material is going to update for me, and I'll be able to see all of these actions right from that one location.